Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Dan Barefoot checking in from warm and hot Los Angeles, California.
And I'm MJ, joining you from the beautiful and very cold Bogota, Colombia. You're listening to WIN StreamIt, your trusted source for insights into digital graphics and a look at what's shaping the future of our industry.
Hey, we're glad to have you back on WIN StreamIt. Today's episode is a great example of how we enjoy featuring not only established players, but also emerging players with an exciting road ahead. With that, we're thrilled to spotlight Fluid Color, a relatively new name in the wide and grand format printing space.
While Fluid Color may be new to some, its parent company, Team EPS, has been a solid presence in the
Mhm.
printing industry since 1993. Staying true to its collaborative roots, Team EPS has partnered with respected names like Heidelberg, Screen, Fujifilm, Agfa, and the Hanglory Group, which includes Hanway's corrugated press line.
And today, we're lucky to have two guests joining us representing both Team EPS and Fluid Color, Rob Firestone and Adam Tourville. It's a bit of two for one deal today, MJ. Hey, but before we bring them in, a quick personal note. I've recently met Rob, so he's really a good guy, clean slate. Adam, however, is a longtime colleague and friend and also a diehard, I can't say it, Boston Celtics fan. Being from Los Angeles, where I proudly support both the Lakers and the Clippers, yeah, I hedge my bets. I was honestly a little worried Adam might show up in full Celtics green just to stir things up.
Dan, come on, you promise. No sports rivalries on the show, please.
Okay, you're right. Hey, all jokes aside, it's a real pleasure to have both Rob and Adam with us. I've had the chance to work closely with Adam for years, and despite his questionable taste in basketball teams, he's really one of the good ones. Hey, welcome to the show, you both.
Rob and Adam, welcome to the show. Adam, my apologies for Dan's Lakers induced rambling there. Now, one of my favorite parts of our streaming sessions is learning how our guests found their way
Mhm.
into this industry. Everybody's got a different path, so please tell us your stories. How did you both land in the graphics industry?
Thanks, MJ. And for those of you who don't know, Dan's from Indiana. He loves Larry Bird.
That's not fair, okay?
I've been in the industry since 2009. I started at a small startup ink company manufacturing inkjet inks for OEM customers and single pass and scanning applications. That business we grew and we sold in 2016 to Avery Dennison. And since then, I've worked for single pass equipment manufacturers, scanning traditional flatbed manufacturers, and now here I am at Fluid Color. With that, I've got a lot of knowledge in terms of ink, adhesion, substrates, and as well as equipment. Rob?
That's great.
Yeah, so graphic designer by trade. I went to college, got my degree, and went into a production house, rather small place. We were at that time still mixing fixer and developer for film development, but
Wow.
also at the same time running some small roll-to-roll printers and doing some banner work, setting up die lines, all sorts of random things. Fast forward, I actually moved back to Louisville, Kentucky, and there I worked for a couple of advertising firms, and then found myself jumping a little bit into the sign industry briefly for about 8 months. Fast forward from there, I picked up a job at one of the largest sports garment retailers that are out there, and spent about roughly 6 years running their customization department down in Louisville. And then fast forward past that, ended up hooking up with a sign franchise and became an operations director there, and ran the show for about 1 month short of 8 years. And
Wow.
at that point, I found myself just knowing and using and operating different equipment, being in a bucket truck sometimes, drilling holes in walls, and all sorts of fun things, depending on who came in that day or who didn't, rather. So at that point, got tapped by Greg, the owner here, and pulled me on board, since I kind of know the ins and outs of what are the pain points of printers, what are the things that people look for as an operator. So, yeah. And here I am.
Thanks. I've got to say, MJ, hearing their journey is really inspiring. Hey, up next, we're going to have an overview of both Team EPS and Fluid Color, and specifically the products offered.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Fluid Color, our tagline is success made simple, because that's what we try to do. We try to make the printers simple and reliable for more uptime. We try to make customer service and support simple as well. So let's get started, and we'll go to the first slide. Fluid Color is a Team EPS company. And as MJ said, Team EPS has been around for about 32 years now. So we have a long history of service and support, as Team EPS was a service and support company for the plate setter world. About 7 years ago, Greg decided that we need to get away from plate setters as they're going away, and he teamed up with Hand Top and Hand Glory to bring in the Fluid Color line of printers. These Fluid Color line of printers essentially are relatively simple machines when it comes to the engineering of them, which basically leads into easier support, service, and more user-friendly architecture in terms of having to maintenance and take care of the machine. About 85% of the machine is actually serviceable by the customer. Wow. So one thing that does make us different is that when machines come in, we actually go through them. We make sure the tables are flat. We make sure the gantries are square. And then we run the machines for about 40 hours to make sure that there's no gremlins, there's no hidden issues within the machines before they get sent out to the customer. And now the same person that puts the machine together and runs it is also the same person that's going to go out and install it. And what that does, it gives complete ownership to that person for that machine. So if there is an issue on site during installation, it's on that person to get it fixed. But also they know when they're building the machine, if they see something they don't like, it's easier to fix it in the shop than it is on the road. So with that, service is a lot of what we do, and we do try to make sure that we're giving enough time to training, that we're giving enough time to advanced operator classes, because a more prepared operator, better trained operator, leads to more uptime, less downtime, and less machine issues. Now, our facility is based in Hebron, Kentucky, which is just south of Cincinnati, Ohio, across the river. We have a 60,000 square foot facility. The facility is new. It's also got an open architecture, so machines basically come in one side of the building and get put together and brought out the other side. We have a state-of-the-art demo facility. We have all of our equipment available for demos, and we also have our corrugated presses available from Team EPS Packaging in the same building. So you can see packaging, printing, flatbed, hybrid, and roll all in one place. With Fluid Color, we do have standard features like crash bars, static ionization bars to reduce static. We use water-cooled lamps to help reduce heat being put into any thin materials that may have, curling, or what some people call potato chipping. We also make sure the machines are field upgradable, so you can start with as few as 2 heads, and you can add more heads as you need more production, or if you want to add white later. So every machine is shipped with the electronics, the ink tanks, everything you need, other than just putting in a print head and turning on the electronics. And then we also offer a industry-leading 3-year warranty that covers parts, labor, travel time. Basically, we looked at the cost of what it actually takes for us to service something over the course of 3 years, and it was minimal. And that allows us to be able to offer a 3-year warranty because we believe in the product and its reliability. Now, one thing that's also unique about us is that we offer many different head configurations. Our standard configurations, we show that with every printer when they're on order. And what we'll do is we'll actually, find out what the customer is doing. So if someone does a lot of second surface printing, we can actually give them a printer that is more geared towards speed of second surface printing. Or if they do a lot of varnish overcoat, we can put varnish into the last row of print heads, and we can basically increase the speed of the specialties that they are doing, or we can give them a standard configuration. But we do have many different color configurations for all of our printers, and one thing that we do try to do is find out what our customers are doing so we can give them the right product. So we also, for our technologies that we do carry, roll-to-roll is one of them. We have many roll-to-roll machines. Our smallest is a 70-inch Ricoh Gen 6 print head machine. It's actually a fairly low price point for what you get out of the machine, but the speed you get out is incredible. And it's really geared towards interior decoration, wallpaper, and stuff like that is kind of where it's found its niche. We have 3-meter roll-to-roll machines with Kyocera for people who are looking for speed, reliability, durability. People who want to print to mesh kits, windscreens, stuff like that as well. And then we also have 5-meter roll-to-roll Kyocera printers as well. And with all these machines too, the bigger ones especially, you can do 2-up printing or 3-up printing if you've got multiple rolls. Now, our flatbeds, which is what we've sold the most of over the last 7 years, come in basic 3 different sizes. We have a 5x3, which is really great for smaller shops that are limited on space, but still need to get into the flatbed market. We sell quite a few of these into smaller shops. I just call these, the mom and pop shops, the hometown shops, or even into like some of the franchise locations. Our 8x4 machines also come in Ricoh or Kyocera. So you can, if you're going with Ricoh, it's going to be slower. If you go with Kyocera, it's going to be faster. So with the Ricoh, you can print up to 1,422 square feet an hour, which basically equates to over 40 boards an hour, 4x8 sheets. And then the Kyoceras on the 8x4, you can print over 60 boards an hour with those machines. And then we have our 5x10s, but again, both in Ricoh and in Kyocera, depending upon your budget, your price point, what you're looking for. But essentially, again, you're printing over 40 boards an hour with the Ricoh and over 60 boards an hour with the Kyocera. And then the printers that have been getting the most attention, at least from prospects and customers recently, has actually been our hybrid series of printers. They offer the versatility to be able to do roll and boards, rigid boards, starting at 63 inches wide and going up to 3 meters. We offer Ricoh and Kyocera versions. So typically the 63 and 98 inch hybrid are the 2 most popular. When people are looking for more production, they'll end up going with the Z126H, which is our 3-meter Kyocera printer. Now, these printers are incredibly versatile. You can print roll-to-roll, rigid, and when you get to a production point where you need over 4,000 square feet an hour, we do have an industrial side of our business, and this is our Robo. It's a 98-inch wide hybrid with automatic loading, unloading. This thing is fast. It technically can print 4,800 square feet an hour. We actually have to back it down a little bit to 4,158. But this machine is automated, so if you're looking for production, this thing can handle it. You just put your stack, it'll load and unload. Another industrial machine, which we're going to see today on the demo, which is our newest machine, is the 84F High Gantry, or HG. Comes with Ricoh Gen 6 print heads. Same speed as our 8x4. The big difference here is that you can print 19.68 inches of height. So you can print from 0 to 19.68 or 500 millimeters. And that allows you to print to coolers. It allows you to print to guitar cases, urns, pet urns, wood boxes, crates, all sorts of different items that are not traditionally flat. And the last industrial printer that we do have is also a single pass. Now this machine is 48 inches wide, is specifically geared towards printing to sheet metal panels that will then get punched out and turned into stuff like covers, caps, screw tops for bottles, jars, plastic bottles, stuff like that. It can also print to other objects as well, plastic sheets, rigid stock, stuff like that. But originally it was made to print to sheet metal. with speeds up to 50 meters a minute. So you're talking about 150 feet a minute. So basically, Fluid Color, we're a 32-year service business that happens to sell printers. Service is our main focus with customers. We want to make sure everybody's happy so that when they go to look at another printer, it's easy for them to say, hey, we need to buy another Fluid Color. Also, we try to focus on reliability and simplicity. We don't need to make things more complicated than they already are. Life is complicated enough. Your printer doesn't have to be. So with that, let's go back to Rob.
Thank you so much, Adam. Excellent insights, not only on Team EPS, but on Fluid Color and the products you offer. And now it's time to move from talk to action with the live demo of the Fluid Color RF84 HG. This powerhouse printer is built for serious production, especially with its high gantry of 19.68 inches. And Rob's here to give us a closer look at its performance.
Okay, so right now what we're going to show off is the basic operation that you'd witness from a regular RF84. Right now we're going to print a full 4x8 sheet of a sheet of coroplast. Let's go here. So as you'll notice, there's some, as Adam was talking about simplicity, there's no foot pedals on these. We've got mechanical registration pins. Turn the lever. Same deal with the vacuum. You have a button to turn it on and off. Use the lever to reverse the flow, so it turns into essentially an air hockey table. And you do have the option as well of toggling your different vacuum zones, which depending on what size item you're going to put on there, that's where you choose its placement on the bed, correlates to which zones you have open. This does have UV, water-cooled UV LED lamps. Greatly increases the lifespan of these lamps. Keeps the housing nice and cool, as well as there's ionization bars in there to keep all your static, all the gross stuff you don't want to have clumped up in your print, also get collected in your print heads as well. Outside of that, we have proprietary software that runs this machine, TopJet. There are a lot of settings in there that you can toggle. We don't have any security keys or dongles to keep you out of the system, so it's essentially like a giant sandbox. You can change trailing and leading lamps. You can change the power. That'll toggle different type of finish that you want out of your ink as it sits on the substrate.
The linear rail system on there is a magnetic drive, so there's no belts. It is quieter. It is a little bit faster. It's also less maintenance and allows you basically to focus more on printing and operation and billable hours for your operators rather than downtime. So, and then we also have the crash detection bars on the outside of the carriage, which in case someone leaves a pen, pencil, or the material curls, as long as those flip, those will stop the carriage within about 8 centimeters so that they doesn't get to the print head. And then there's also next to those is those static ionization bars we talked about, and those help reduce static onto sheet plastics and other materials where moving metal, 1 millimeter or so off of it creates static. So it does reduce it so you get better, more consistent prints.
So as you'll see, this is a small graphic that's been step repeated. This is done in the TopJet software. You can also toggle this in whatever RIPQ software you're running to operate or output your file rather. And that's it for a flat print.
Now we're going to go to some tall objects. While the guys are getting the machine set up, you can see Rob turn the lever for the pin registration. We've got some boxes we're going to customize. You can also do wood crates. We have customers that do sheet metal panels that are already created. And, basically any dimensional object that will fit underneath there. So once it's raised, you don't have to go back. You don't have to, keep raising it up and down for every single print. Once you're raised, if you know the height of your object, it's fairly straightforward. You can just continue to print. There's no need to go all the way down to 0, then back up to 19.68. You can also tell it to, if you know the object's only 6 inches high, you don't need to go all the way to 19.68. You can just go to 6.5, then go over, measure your height, and be set.
So what we have queued up to print here is a igloo cooler. With it being a darker surface, we actually have a base coat of spot 1, which is white. And that's going to put that down first. Then on top of that, it'll lay down a layer of CMYK on top of that, generating your actual image and graphic. One thing you'll notice, it's kind of interesting here, is that we just have a couple random cardboard boxes that are sitting in place next to the surface we're printing on, or the item we're printing on. And what that does is, when it kind of locks in that item in place on the table, we do just have this front left quadrant of the table engaged right now with the vacuum system. Typically what will happen is, you can go the route of actually building jigs. Something like this, say if you're going to print a large amount of these, you could gang them up on the printer base itself and not have to use the cardboard. And what that does is basically gives you the ability to just draw out your entire artwork file. My suggestion would be, you could step and repeat it. I would probably go through and build a file that has them ganged up, run the whole thing. But that takes a lot of measuring. You can build and route a jig, which we'll talk about later, to put items, especially if they're smaller. It'd be recommended to keep them lined up. But yes. So right now it's starting to advance further and lay down the golden color on top of the white. One thing to note is making sure to have your artwork actually centered on the actual item you're going to be printing. Otherwise, especially if it's an uneven surface, you'll definitely get some odd print results. Point in case, if you don't have it centered, it's going to drop down into the cup holder or a part that's not exactly flush or flat. So you want to make sure that you measure out and center your artwork to be registered correctly on there. Once this is done printing, we'll pull it off and give you a look. One other method you could use as well is you could actually cut out a piece of cardboard, as it were, as like a hat. So you have a punch through that nests over the top of your item, especially if it's taller. And what that does is prevent overspray, especially if you're doing full bleed. And here's finished product. All right, so coming up next, what we're going to do is we're going to clear these off. Chase, if I can borrow you. We've got some pull floats that we got on clearance at Walmart. These would be great as a incentive gift or something to be given away at a company from HR or something, prizes, whatnot. What we're going to do, we're going to gang these up. This is one of the scenarios where you want everything, when you purchase these items, to put them on a printer like this, you want to make sure that there's no curling of the edges of the cardboard box, the lips, and whatnot, to make it sure it's nice and smooth, no catch. What we're going to do now is lower the gantry itself. So the carriage itself has variable settings to test what media you're going to be testing the height on. I believe it goes from 25, 75, and 100 millimeters. And so with those canned settings, you can get relatively close, but you're also using the raising and lowering of the gantry in tandem with that. All right, that being done, all right, so what we're doing now is we're going to use the front and back box sort of a jig, as we just did with the cardboard boxes on the cooler. Just going to come down and measure material. There's a little metal foot that drops down out the underside of the carriage, and it lowers it until it hits, pops back up, lets you know the height. Typically, when printing with the high gantry, you're going to give yourself a little bit more breathing room and bump it up just a smidge. I'm talking 0.6 of a millimeter. Here we go, and we're off. So this is something, if you did the math on your ganging this up in TopJet, or if you filled the entire bed with these boxes, you'd be able to print however many up you could fit across the board and just put it edge to edge. Generally, when setting something like this up and you don't have a full bleed image, I'll take a colorless stroke or fill and put that around the actual artwork. That way it lines up to origin to make sure your image is placed correctly. That's a little bit of an easy safeguard to do on the front end. So it's nice as everybody goes to company picnics, everybody goes to different HR events, sometimes in corporate America with their different themes and whatnot. What we're printing right now is a perfect attendance award gift, as it were. And this just makes it very easy without having to do a whole lot of legwork. Say if a company came to your print shop, had a crate full of different items they wanted to have, first, second, third place prize, participation prizes, and whatnot. And this would be a very quick move for them to do, to customize and put the company logo on it, and really kind of dress up a somewhat sometimes boring or generic item. All right. So end product, this is the top of the box, and this is what you could be giving away to your employees. Prints directly over the existing graphic. Pretty nice little finish there. Okay.
Hey, we have some great questions coming in. MJ, why don't you kick it off?
Glad to. Okay, so this first question has two parts. So the first part is, what industries or applications is the
Mhm.
RF84 HG best suited for? And what type of businesses benefit from most of this gantry design?
I'd say ultimately, a lot of your manufacturing companies, like we were just talking about, finishing a product and customizing a product. Imagine your company. This is what they do. You have a whole warehouse that's stacked full of different large items or items that need to be finished. Say, even past employer of mine, we've got a lot of garments they're doing. We'll say they get into the line of doing coolers or collapsible coolers. They get into doing um, luggage and suitcase. Anything that's branded with some sort of licensed logo or iconography or images, this is something you can use this technology to apply to that, as well as also doing something. So if a sign shop, say you've got your local landscaper come in and he's got all his gas tanks, he's got different toolboxes, as long as it's, even if it's tapered, you can generate yourself a jig that holds it level and parallel to the printing surface. And from there, you can add in the logo, contact numbers,
Mhm.
QR codes, anything of that sort. So no matter where this stuff is on a job site, people drive by. It's the same type of advertising or billboard work that you would get out of a vehicle wrap or putting a flat sign on a trailer or things of that sort.
Yeah.
Adam, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of serialization, customization, again, of finished products. The way the world's going, everything's got to be serialized. Everything needs its own unique identifiers. Um, there's the people that we've sold these machines to, they're creating those products. They're putting the powder coat, they're printing to metal. It could be evacuation plans and routes that are different for every room in a hotel. It could be, sheet metal panels that go onto a piece of electrical equipment that has all the electrical requirements on it with the serial numbers. So yeah, Rob's right. This goes into commercialization, industrialization of products. But doesn't mean sign shops can't use this at all. Like, it's very beneficial for a sign shop who wants to be able to do everything for their community, their partners, not just print flat signage or small promotional items. They may want to be able to do, like Rob said, the coolers, some artist wants to do print to something unique. That's what this is for. It's versatility. It's allowing you to
Guitar
not
cases.
Yeah. Yep. Drums, guitar cases. We've done those. We've done toolboxes. We've printed to a lot of strange things. I'm not trying to be morbid, but I keep bringing up urns because, well, urns are one of the things that are being customized nowadays. There is a lot of interest in making an urn personalized for the person that is getting cremated and is going to go in the urn. And that's more for the family members, so they remember whoever passed away. So I do think there's a lot of specialty applications out there that this machine could definitely go into and start kind of revolutionizing certain niches.
You've already actually addressed this question about uneven or curved surfaces, so it absolutely can. But can the RF84 HG print on multiple objects or substrates at once?
Yes, it can. So you can print to multiple objects and items. The biggest thing is just making sure they're all the same height. So if you got something that's 10 inches tall and something that's 9 inches tall, you can't do that. You're going to have to print them separately. But if you have two items that are both 10 inches, you can print them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you would want to load the whole table up with the same items and then print. When it comes to printing into cavities, like Rob was trying to there, or printing an uneven surface, let's say like a basketball for, maybe a championship, Titletown basketball band. You have to, we have ways to basically print to those balls curvature, right? So they're round.
Mm-hmm.
So the further you get out from the radius is you're going to get distortion, overspray. We can print unidirectional with large drops to make it so you can print to a larger diameter onto that ball. So, and we can also do the same thing into cavities to print in, into recesses and things like that.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Is the 84 HG capable of wide or varnish printing? And I know you already addressed this, but could you maybe remind us what type of RIP software is used with this machine?
Hmm.
Yeah. So the 84 HG does come with white and varnish if you need it. If you don't, you don't have to get it.
Okay.
All the equipment for white and varnish is already in the printer. So if you want to add it at a later date, all we have to do is basically plug in the print heads and turn the electronics on.
Okay.
With that, you can do certain things. White, you can print under if you want to make, if you're printing colored surfaces to make true color. If you want to print second surface, you can print behind color. So when you look through acrylic or glass, you have the right color showing through. And then with varnish, we have tricks to be able to make it glossy, to make it satin, to make it more matte. So yeah, you can use white and varnish. And then for the RIP software, we have a lot that can be used. We leave it to the customer to decide which one they want to use. We don't try to force anything on anybody. So Onyx, Caldera are probably the two most popular. But then
Okay.
we also have like Print Factory, SAI, Fiery is available as well. So as well as there's a couple other ones that you can use.
Okay.
Great.
Great.
Hey, what is the installation, onboarding, and following on to that? What's the maintenance like on these units?
So the installation and training, we do 5 days. Basically, Monday,
Okay.
our technician will get there, Monday midday and leave Friday midday. So you get 4 full days. They're going to install the machine the first day. And again, because they made the machine, they put the machine together, calibrated it, they ran it. That person is going to know that machine better than anybody. And it also leads to a quicker install time. So there's more time
Okay.
actually spent training with the customer on the maintenance, on how to print, on how to do certain things. And by the last day, they're there basically making sure that they're answering questions as they're actually putting out jobs.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, Maintenance, we have a daily, weekly, monthly PM schedule. Daily is just basically purge the heads and wipe them. Weekly, you want to just make sure you clean any overspray off the machine. Make sure the lamps are clean. Monthly, you're going to end up oiling the rails and stuff like that. So it's all fairly simple, quick stuff that takes less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so last question. How does this machine help increase production capacity or profitability? And what kind of support or warranty options are available? I know you mentioned some types of warranty, but maybe if you could explain it here again.
Yeah, it's a 3-year warranty, and we offer that because, like I said, we looked at the numbers and we just weren't replacing parts that often. And so, from a business perspective, it makes sense to offer a 3-year warranty on a product you believe in. We believe a lot heavily in our products, so it was very easy for us to do that. In terms of production capacity and in terms of profitability, printing to commercial goods, industrial goods, finished goods is always going to be more profitable
Mhm.
than trying to print to banner or a yard sign. Um, these demand higher profits because they're more expensive. So if you can personalize something that's already a commercial product, you're going to end up having more profitability. It does take more time to do it just to get things
Yeah.
set up. But once you find that niche of yours and you can start growing
Hmm.
that niche, it should become something that's very profitable for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Adam. This has been another great windstorming session. We really appreciate you guys participating with us on windstorming. By the way, if you would like to get in touch with Fluid Color, please go to www.fluidcolor.com.
Hey, absolutely, MJ. Hey, this has been a great session. But before we wrap up, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Win Quick News, our weekly newsletter, posted straight to your mailbox.
And I've got some exciting
Hmm.
news. We're launching a new online feature, Win Update, a quick 2 to 3 minute video recap of the week's top stories from Win Quick News. It's all about keeping you up
Hmm.
to speed with the latest in the digital graphics industry, fast, sharp, and straight to the point. And I'm thrilled to share that I'll be presenting the Spanish version every week. Nos vemos muy pronto.
That's right. And fortunately, I'll be handling the English version.
That's true. I can't wait to kick this off officially. Our Win Update shows will be available on all of our social media platforms, along with highlights from over 100 videos and
Hmm.
recaps from major trade shows like ISA, FESPA Berlin, Createx, and Antigrafica in Colombia. Plus, all of our Win streaming sessions, including this session, are available on demand after each broadcast.
Hey, that's a great deal of content. And speaking of major industry events, we're excited to announce that World Imaging News and WIN Latino are now official media sponsors of Printing United. I'll be reporting live from Orlando, and I hope we'll have both Adam and Rob on site capturing even more product videos right from their booth at 2042. Again, Fluid Color will be at Printing United in booth 2042. Make sure you drop by and see Adam and the team.
And that's not all then. We're excited to share that WIN is also an official sponsor of FESPA Mexico. I'll be reporting live from
Mhm.
Mexico City during the show, bringing you exclusive interviews and the latest innovations as they happen.
We couldn't be more thrilled to partner with both of these amazing events. Hey, it's been a day full of big news, and there's so much more ahead. Don't forget to stay connected with us online at worldimagingnews.com for all the latest updates.
And for our Spanish speaking friends, worldimaginenewslatino.com.
And that's a wrap for this episode of When Stream It. I'm Dan Barefoot,
And I'm MJ.
and until next time, be healthy and keep smiling.
Manténganse saludables y sigan sonriendo.